Hello, my name is Zahin Hussain. I am the Youth for Global Goals Partnership Manager on the ADB Youth for Asia team. And here with me today is Arlene Amarante, the Director of Business Strategy from Microsoft Philippines. So Arlene, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too as well. So we've been hosting with Microsoft the DigiGirls Philippines initiative. It's centered around the Youth for Global Goals and looking at gender equality in the private sector. And we really want to look at what Microsoft is doing specifically to address these goals. So Arlene, if I can ask, how do you think the private sector is doing in terms of gender equality in the workforce?
There's much to be done, I think, as far as gender equality is concerned. I mean, you take a look at all the researches that have been made, looking at Fortune companies, technology companies all over the world, you already know the magnitude of this problem. Mm-hmm. So there is a problem that we need to solve. There's an opportunity to be able to really think about how we can address this particular issue.
Okay, and do you think maybe some areas or geographies are doing better than others?
Obviously, yes, because there's deliberate programs that are being done. I think there are also not just like areas or regions, right? But I think there's more of like a deliberate attempt to address the problem on a by company basis, which I think is even more powerful.
Right, that's definitely a good point. And with regards to Microsoft, I know there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us kind of what's Microsoft doing in terms of promoting gender equality?
Wow. So many things. I mean, I'm a woman, so I think you can surmise that Microsoft is very committed to making sure that there's gender equality, and there are it's an equal opportunity for both genders to be part of this technology company.
Right. Are there any specific initiatives that Microsoft is doing to promote this gender equality?
So it cuts across many programs. For instance, like even in our MAC programs, we have like internships being offered. We make sure that in this particular program, there's an equal opportunity for both. And when we do hire, you'd see like there's also an equal number of men and women as far as our internship programs are concerned, whether it's an undergraduate program or a higher program for that matter, there is an equal opportunity for both. On top of which, we also have like women at Microsoft. There's an established program where women get to meet and think about ways that can address not just that, but a gamut of like of problems that exist in the company. So there's just so many things to like discuss as far as like programs that are being implemented by Microsoft.
Right.
So the commitment is definitely there.
Right, and especially being a tech company, of course, there is a big gender gap usually. So what about your experience being at Microsoft or now going into senior management? What's that been like for you?
Personally, I see myself as I'm a sponsor to these women at work in Microsoft. Mm-hmm. So there's an opportunity to be able to address this problem personally. So it's not just being an employee and just watching everything unfold or these programs to be implemented. I myself, as a woman, I'm tasked to be a sponsor of this particular Women at Microsoft initiative.
Right. And I think with Microsoft, one thing I want to highlight is I think it's one of the few companies to have a very youth-centric sort of program with the Youth Spark initiative.
Oh, yes.
And here at ADB, we're working for the Youth for Global Goals. So looking at for the 17 SDGs that were sort of initiated by the UN last year, what are youth's contribution? And so looking at Microsoft, the Youth Spark program, as well as this Women at Microsoft.
Yes.
What do you think is youth role in promoting more gender equality in the workforce?
Well, a lot, but what I can tell you is that, I just came from that room with so much enthusiasm and energy. I think one of the things I told them was, don't wait. I think their role now is to just make sure that they grab every opportunity to make sure that there is gender equality in their workplace. Yes, they're not working now. They're in their school, they're in their secondary school, but there's no better way to or no better time to do it. But starting now.
Right. In
school, wherever there's an opportunity to have women make a difference, whatever industry. I also encourage them to go outside the country when they travel. There's just so many opportunity to just be able to contribute as early as now.
Exactly, definitely. And we want to see not just future leaders, but leaders today.
Absolutely.
And what if there's one thing that you would tell youth of what they can do, both women and men, girls and boys, as to what they can do to promote more gender equality, what would that be?
It has to be a commitment. I think people need to be aware that there is inequality that exists.
Right.
And therefore, whenever they are, whether in just a classroom, situation, they have to be aware of this particular problem that exists and be part of the solution. So that, across the board, when, as they pursue certain careers, they are already, the opportunity to contribute and change, make a difference, is already well ingrained as far as the individuals are concerned.
Yeah.
So.
And coming out from that room of young girls over at DigiGirls, what was the energy like? What do you think will come out from this event?
I think they like the fact that we recognize the problem, but that we were not skirting anything.
Right.
In fact, the questions that they were asking was really about what were the challenges that were being faced. I particularly provided them a specific experience where I felt that my gender was a disadvantage, at least for a particular company.
Right.
But I think putting that up front makes them even more, I think, encouraged to do something about it as early as now.
Well, thank you, Arlene, for being such a role model for the young women and girls there, looking at how they can promote more gender equality in the workforce.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And that is Youth for Global Goals here at the Asian Youth Forum, 4th annual one. Thank you for tuning in.